So I just bought a new car and I'm going to put this one on HyreCar. It actually wouldn't even qualify for Turo, but I want to start putting more cars on HyreCar since they bring in more money. It's much more passive and I want to be able to like travel and stuff like that. And also I can buy cheaper cars. Like I can get an older car with more mileage and put it on HyreCar. So this is a 2009 with 138,000 miles. Turo requires right now a 2010 or newer, and it has to have under 130K. So I can get older cars, and they're much cheaper. I don't even know if there actually is a year and mileage limit for hire car. I know. So I bought this because I wanted something. Basically, people use it on like Uber. So I wanted one that would, on Uber in my area, it has to be a 2007 or newer. So I wanted a 2009 or newer. Maybe I would get a 2008 if it was just like a crazy good deal. But I want the car to at least be able to last for 2 years. And I don't want the mileage to be like crazy high because I want it to be reliable. And that's why I was looking at only Toyotas and Hondas since I'm buying something older. I just don't trust other manufacturers with like older cars with higher mileage like that. I really need it to be reliable. Um, but anyway, it's kind of a bonus with higher cars. You can get older, cheaper stuff. It's still you can still put it on the platform. And another bonus is that the tires actually only need to be 30 seconds, where with Turo they need to be 4 30 seconds, which is kind of tall. Like kind of certain tires they wear out unevenly, and you have to throw them away like really quickly because they'll get below 4 30 seconds. And Turo is really anal about that. Like if like I got a one of my cars was it was a total loss recently, and like the inspector came and took photos of it in person, and they take photos of the tire tread depth. And I know the reason they're doing that, it's because they're looking for tire tread depth that doesn't meet the minimum requirements, and if it doesn't, they're not going to pay you out on the insurance claim. They're just going to say that you violated their terms. So that's the reason why they're inspecting that stuff. I don't think HyreCar would do that either. I get the feeling they're not as anal about stuff like that. And the 3 30 seconds rule with the tires is just what Uber requires. It's probably the same as like what Lyft requires. So, yeah, and the way HyreCar works is the people renting from there, they can actually use the car to do like Uber and drive Uber with it. I don't know if they can still use it for Lyft. They used to be able to do both, but it might just be Uber. They can also do things like Uber Eats and stuff like that. You might even be able to put a car on there that's super old and doesn't even qualify for Uber, but because you can use like any car for Uber Eats, you might be able to find somebody who just does Uber Eats. But I'm not sure if they allow that on HyreCar because I think they do require like I know they do require like the Uber inspection to have the car in there. So I'm not entirely sure, but you might be able to. You could call up HyreCar and ask. But so anyway, what I do is when I'm looking for cars, I just have Craigslist thing up with my criteria put in. Minimum year 2009 is what I was looking for. 160,000 miles or under. I don't want the mileage to be too high because I need the car to be reliable. And I just put price from 5,000 to 7,500. I had a budget of like 7 grand. So whatever your budget is, look for cars that are a bit higher priced though, because you can negotiate and talk the price down. You know, I remember I bought a car once that was listed for $4,000. There is nothing wrong with it. I talked the guy down basically to $3,000 on the phone and just went and bought it. Like a lot of people, they're selling their car and they just do not want to deal with people. So if you're a serious buyer with cash and you talk to them on the phone and you're just normal and nice, they just want to sell it to you, even if the price is a lot lower. And that was kind of what I did with this one. So what I'll do is I'll just type in Toyota, refresh the browser, type in Honda, refresh the browser. I was just looking for those. I just don't trust other manufacturers with cars this old. I need something really reliable. And the new stuff, you want to contact people right away when you see because the good deals, they get sold really, really quickly. A lot of people contact them. So I saw this Honda Fit here, listed for 7 grand. I want it at least down to 6,500. So I called the guy up right away, like kind of very shortly after he posted the ad. He agreed to 6,500. Well, we set up a time so I could view it the same day. It was just like a couple hours later or something as soon as he was free. He actually kind of flaked too later because he said he was getting so many calls that he didn't want to sell it for the 6,500 because he figured he could easily sell it for full price. He told me that. But he told me if they flaked, he'd contact me. And he contacted me at like the time they were supposed to view it. Said both the guys flaked. And he was like, hey, I'm not even going to like talk to other people. I'll just sell it to you. Just come look at it. He just didn't want to deal with people. He doesn't want to deal with those flaky people on Craigslist. I used to buy and sell cars only on Craigslist, so I know how it is. It gets pretty annoying. So I went and looked at it. I think it was like the next day, and I actually talked him down to 6,200 because it needed a bunch of stuff. He told me the tires were good on it. They weren't really. The front ones had a lot of tread left, but they were very dry rotted. So I replaced the front tires right away. Luckily for this car, I was able to find really good tires for only $70 each too, and they had like a very high tread wear warranty on them too, which is what I look for. I made a video on how to find good cheap tires for your rental cars too, if you're interested in that. The back tires have 432 left, which with HyreCar I actually only need 332s, so I'm going to use those for a bit. It needed new front brakes. I replaced those. And what else? It needed a new starter too. The gears are starting to wear. It was making a little bit of that grinding noise so when you start your car, if it makes a little like noise kind of right when it starts, it's a sign the starter's going out because the gears start to wear out. So I replaced the starter. Both pretty easy. I also bled all the brakes. The brake fluid was pretty dirty, and I do all this work myself, so none of that was too much work. It just took me like, I don't know, I could have done it all in like one day, but it took a couple of days to do it. And then I just cleaned and detailed the whole thing. The interior was pretty dirty. So yeah, it took me a while to talk him down to 6,200 too. He let me get it for like 63, and he was not going to sell it to me for 62. That's really what I want it for, since it just needed so much like little things on it, and then all this stuff adds up, and I have to put the time and the work into it. But he just kind of liked me. Like, I was just we liked each other. I was just chatting with him for a while. He's a really cool guy, and I just chatted with him for so long. Eventually he's just like, all right, I'll give it to you for 62 because I like you. And so anyway, I got the car all ready now, and I can show you all my expenses that I paid. So when you get a new car, there's a lot of expenses that, even if there aren't repairs, there's still a lot of expenses. So here the registration was like $330. So I bought a tracking device. It was $142 in total, and I'm here in California, and in my area, the sales tax is it's actually over 10% where I live, so it's really crazy. It makes the price of everything go a lot higher. And I'm not, and let's see, and I paid $110 to get the tracking device installed. I got a tracking device for this one too, since I've had a couple other cars on HyreCar. And when you put something on HyreCar, you really want a tracking device that has that you can disable starting of the car with. So that was what I got. And if you search HyreCar tracking device, they have like a little deal. It's a pastime, and I don't know, you get like $20 or $30 off the device. Seemed pretty easy to install because the Viper Start Smarts I had this guy install, he charged me like $160. It was only $110 for this one. It works great. I can disable the car with it, and you turn the key and just nothing happens. You really want that for HyreCar. Oil, I changed the oil right away on it, and I changed the brake fluid, so it was like $94 and brake fluid and a filter, and then the oil and everything. Let's see, and 2 tires, $160. Paid $60 to get both the tires installed. $84 for front brakes and rotors. I need a little windshield wiper cap, or the windshield wiper filler cap was only $8. Starter was $101. I got a refurbished one. It's a Honda brand one that's refurbished. If you can get like parts like that are refurbished, eBay has a lot of them. They can be really good because you can still get the OEM part. It's basically new. It's just refurbished, but it'll be like a 1/4 of the price of the OEM part. What's it called? Fuel injectors, and get really good deals like that. There's refurbished ones on eBay. Paid $20 for a Carfax when I first bought it. Always get a Carfax when you're buying a car first. What you want to do too is wait until like right when you're about to go buy the car before you actually run the Carfax too, because it costs money. But you can buy a pack of 5 Carfaxes for $100. Definitely do that. And then you kind of want to wait until like right when you're going to go look at the car to buy it, because if they flake, then you ended up wasting money on the Carfax. And then I got the Uber inspection, was 43, and I had to fill up the tank. It was like $48 in gas. So the total price of that was $1,200. It was $1,200.93 on top of the 6,200. And if you take out, even if it didn't need like tires and brakes in the starter, it's still, let's see how much I paid. Let me see. Front brakes are 84, 160, so it's like 240. Like I paid like 300, 400 in parts. So even if it didn't need any of those parts, it still would be like $800 in fees on top of that with all the reg and everything. So you gotta keep in mind when you buy a car, there's a lot of fees on top of that. Like the tracking device gets expensive, and then a lot of times it's pretty normal to have to. I changed the transmission fluid. That's what that $54 was. A lot of times it's very common you want to change transmission fluid and like bleed the brakes, even with cars that have been taken very good care of. So there's quite a bit of fees on top of it when you buy it. So like in total, it cost me $7,400 and now it's completely ready to go right now. I have it all detailed, and I have photos up and everything. It's all listed. Let me show you the photos right now. Looks really nice. I always get all my car photos in this exact same spot. It's a good thing. If you get pictures of your own cars, have a spot and just take, probably most people do this. Just have a nice spot where, it looks good, and all your cars you just take into the same spot. The interior looks nice and clean. I might get probably get some new floor mats for the front at least. I'll get the WeatherTech ones. They're like crazy nice. They're like all buckety on the sides. I didn't know about them until I bought my last Honda Civic. I had them in them already, and those things are amazing. Like, you usually don't even have to vacuum the car. You just dump out the floor mats and the car is clean. Like, it definitely buying those for all my cars now. I used to get like the Honda brand ones because they look nice. The WeatherTech ones are way nicer. They cost a bit more, but they're definitely worth it. Yeah, this would be a great car for somebody to use for Uber. It's got a little tiny motor, great gas mileage. Not going to be buying any more Priuses just because there's such a liability with the hybrid battery going bad, because they can go bad at any time. Like after about 12 years, it's common for them to go bad after like 12 years, but they could last 20 years or 12 years. It's just totally random. Your car will be working, and then one day you'll get that orange light on the dashboard and your hybrid battery is bad and you have to replace it. And to get the good one with a lifetime warranty, it costs about $2,000, which is the only one I would buy, if I'm using it to rent it out. So it's just not worth it, considering I can get another car that's not a hybrid and never have to deal with that. And also the Priuses, the catalytic converters are just such a liability. Those get stolen all the time, so I don't want to deal with that anymore. So I'm not getting any more Priuses. But yeah, I'll make some updated videos and show you guys, the earnings and how this car goes. And I'm going to be putting more cars onto HyreCar as well, so I'll keep you guys updated with that. Probably going to be taking some cars off of Turo, buying replacement ones and putting them onto HyreCar because it's just so much more passive and I get more money with it.